us what happened from the very beginning. You were working and what had happened. Tell us what happened.
Guys, I mean, all I know is I was standing in the office. They said, hey, someone was shot. They kept us in the office, our office. After that, they hustled us out to the elevators and brought us down. They got us out real quick.
Did you hear any shots, see anything?
I didn't hear a thing. Actually, I thought it was a joke to begin with, and that's it.
What's the exact name of the...
They come to work every day, but this morning is not just another day. Piedmont Center is one of the offices where Thursday's mass shootings occurred. Galen Maddox is a delivery guy.
Very weird, because I go past the place where it happened every day, know some of the people, and it's kind of strange because I've seen the guy before. You know, I saw him a couple of mornings, but I never paid him any attention. So.
What was going through my mind was, you know, I wanted to, you know, get a hold of this guy. You know what I mean? The description was coming out, and the officers that first arrived were describing, you know, kept finding the bodies, and as I kept getting closer here, you know, my only thought was, you know, I hope I run into this guy and get a hold of him.
It was a lockdown for her. She wasn't feeling that well. She was very distraught all afternoon and evening.
Started shooting, and I started trying to get underneath the table, hide underneath the table. And on my way down, he hit me with one shot in my kidney area.
The bullet remains lodged inside Fred Herter's body. But 1 week after the deadly shooting rampage of Mark Barton, this victim is back home from the hospital, undoubtedly feeling lucky.
It took a while to get the ambulances in, and I waited. In fact, I told them to get the critical ones out first, and I went out as one of the last ones.
The men on both sides of Mr. Herter were not as lucky.
Yusuf was laying down in his blood, and well, which is obviously now he is very critically injured with brain damage, I understand. And on that was on the left of me, and on the right of me was Alan Tannenbaum, and he was apparently right from the beginning he was dead. He didn't move, he just laid on the floor.
By the time it was all over, Mark Barton killed 9 people and wounded 13 others before killing himself. But even before the shootings at the Buckhead brokerage firms, Barton murdered his wife and 2 children. Herter says you would have never suspected there would be a problem.
You know, we were colleagues. You know, we were very friendly with each other. I was probably closer to him than anybody in the office there.
No indication.
No indication whatsoever. The typical nice guy.
Mr. Herter says Mark Barton stopped going into Alltech Investments back in March. That's because he was forced to quit day trading at that company because of his financial losses. But 2 days before the shooting, Herter says he saw Mark Barton at Alltech, and he now believes Mark Barton was there scoping out the office, planning his attack. That was Tuesday, the same day Barton beat his wife to death with a hammer. On Wednesday, he killed his children. Thursday, he was back at Alltech.
I actually greeted him, you know, we exchanged some niceties, you know, and...
Didn't notice anything unusual?
Well, he was profusely sweating, and he was a little short in his answer, you know, but at the time I didn't pay much attention.
Because what you didn't know at the time was that the shooting in the first building had already occurred.
Obviously, yeah.
Mentally, I'm great. You know, for what I've gone through, I'm ready to move on with my life. I'm ready to move forward with my career. And I'm not going to let this get me down.
Brent Doonan appeared amazingly strong and mentally upbeat as he talked with reporters this afternoon.
I think the doctors have done a good job, but I think to take 5 bullets and to be up here standing, talking, and walking, I think it's been a complete miracle. I've received so many notes and postcards from people that I don't even know.
The 26-year-old was shot 5 times by day trader Mark Barton, a man Doonan considered a friend.
I knew Mr. Barton very well. I would have never suspected that, you know, I've never seen any anger out of him, any anxiety. He's always been up and up. And yeah, I thought he was a good guy, believe it or not.
Doonan is the co-manager and owner of the Alltech Buckhead office. He didn't want to talk about the details of the shooting, but he made it clear he believes his profession is getting a bad rap.
I don't think this incident has anything to do with day trading. I think it's been completely blown out of proportion. Like I said, Mr. Barton, I think, was a pretty sick individual. If you look back at the history with the alleged killings of 2 wives, with his children even.
We're just anxious to get him back home and let him do some R&R. He really doesn't take any time out for himself, so I think this is going to be a special time just to do that.